wake up and get involved. There's a movement all over the country to legalize not just marijuana, but all drugs. And of course, they've begun that process by legalizing marijuana as a so-called medicine. People need to be involved with it. They need to understand this will have a tremendous negative impact on their communities, on their family, on their children, on their quality of life. They need to learn more about the issue. They could do that by going to the Drug Free America website at www.dfaf.org. They could also visit www.saveoursociety.org to learn more about the specific bill that's being, or the specific initiative that's being promoted for the state of Florida. They could join this group, Save Our Society from Drugs, to be able to work together in unity to push back against this. But the main thing is become informed and speak out about it and say that this is not really what we want for our community.
And I'm the author of the forthcoming book, Help at Any Cost, How the Troubled Teen Industry Cons Parents and Hurts Kids. I was a drug addict. In my late teens and early 20s, I became involved with cocaine and heroin and became a serious addict and had a very bad time. I was amazed by how the information that I got on the street was wrong. The information I got from the government was wrong. The information I got from drug treatment was wrong. And nobody actually knew what the science was saying about it. So when
a few years back, Mai became angry with the fact that children of all ages were being held under inhumane conditions.
They are being deprived of food, deprived of sleep, deprived of contact with the outside world, made to stand in stress positions. They are publicly humiliated, made to run around barking like a dog, or all kinds of bizarre, humiliating, nasty things.
Over the years, there have been many so-called tough love treatment programs, but perhaps none so controversial as Straight Incorporated. Straight was a form of boot camp clinic for troubled teens trying to treat their problems, usually drug-related, through programs that were intended to reshape the teenagers' habits, minds, and lives. But for many participants and their families, the experience and results were far from positive.
There's no limit to the things that were done to these kids. My name is Wesley Fager. I'm a retired computer scientist. And for the last 12 years or so, I have been researching drug policy and specifically rehab programs that abuse our children in the name of the drug war.
Wes runs a website called thestraights.com, which documents a number of horror stories from the program in vivid detail. Here's what he said when asked why he started the website.
In 1989, we suspected our son, Bill, was using drugs. We had moved into the Northern Virginia area, and he was meeting new friends, and he was just acting funny. We put him into Straight. I was new to the Northern Virginia area, and it became to me like a church. There was singing, and there was God Bless America, and you just had this feeling, this is, anybody that's so grassroots American, that this has got to be a good place.
You know, they wouldn't go to, some quack cancer doctor, but they didn't know that these were the equivalent of quacks because there is no regulation on this kind of stuff. The real irony here is that post-traumatic stress disorder actually increases the odds of addiction. So if you send a kid who's just sort of your average marijuana smoker who's like mouthing off to mommy to one of these places, he ends up with post-traumatic stress disorder, he probably comes out saying, "Where's the heroin?"
Kind of mind control, kind of screw your head up kind of abuse. Well, my name is William Earnshaw, and I recycle electronics. Well, in the beginning it was 1983, and I had been at they call them detox centers. My parents wanted me to get some help, and I made an arrangement to go there. And while I was there, there was a nurse that apparently had been familiar with Straight Incorporated being available to people as old as, I believe it was 25. So she recommended that I go into Straight Incorporated, and that's what I did.
Kids further along in the program, as they progress through the program, gain phases, and then they get more and more privileges. And around the third phase, maybe after 3 months or 6 months or a year, they may be finally allowed to come back home, and they have responsibility over other kids.
Wes runs a website called thestraights.com, which documents a number of horror stories from the program in vivid detail. Here's what he said when asked why. Straight was a form of boot camp clinic for troubled teens trying to treat their problems, usually drug-related, through programs that were intended to reshape the teenagers' habits, minds, and lives. But for many participants and their families, the experience and results were far from positive.
There's no limit to the things that were done to these kids. My name is Wesley Fager. I'm a retired computer scientist. And for the last 12 years or so, I have been researching drug policy and specifically rehab programs that abuse our children in the name of the drug war.
It's complete, strip you of your complete identity. You're like nothing. Then they take you and grab your belt loop, which I guess it would be like being led like a dog, so to speak.
William recalls that he was led around by a belt loop at almost all times in the facility, even when he went to the bathroom.
I mean, that was the only time you could go. Me personally, it was 3 days till I could urinate because there was somebody standing behind me the whole time in the bathroom saying, "Let's go, it's time to go, you gotta go." And it's not just me, there's lots of people that had that problem where if you go to use the bathroom, you got to be able to use it. You can't have somebody standing right behind you holding your belt loop. Let's go. I mean, I can't do that. And
we didn't know that they were actually being deprived of food and sleep, spat upon in their faces and made to sleep in the spit. That the kids were restrained in vomit and in their feces and then in their urine, and that they were. My son, I later found, was taken into a closet. They bent his fingers back. I've interviewed a girl, they bent her finger back so far it touched her wrist, and they broke her finger, trying to get her to confess that she's a drug addict when she actually had some sort of an emotional problem. That girl, by the way, has committed suicide, along with more than 40 other former clients from Straight and his spin-off programs.
People had their ribs broken, people had their heads banged against the floor. All this stuff is documented, and yet it continued to go on, and it continues to go on to this day.
So it's weird. It's like the mind, the way it screws the mind, the way they
So the effects
we just call it the brainwashing is definitely abuse. Yes.
So the effects are still with you today, not just in the bathroom, but
well, somewhat. Not as much.
Okay.
Not since finding out the truth about these places. Because we were programmed to never talk about this, ever. I mean, I would get in trouble by talking about this right now if I still believed what they told me. It wasn't until like 18 years later I find out, on the internet, that, hey, there's a problem with this program. I was never told that when I was in there. There was problems with it even before I went in there. My parents probably would have sent me there if they had known ahead of time. But I'm not afraid to speak out about it, and it's very therapeutic to speak out about it. So I don't have that problem so much anymore.